I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Call to order the meeting of Monday, September the 12th. If the clerk would please do the roll.
Councilmember Amos.
Present.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Here.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Here.
Mayor Rep.
Here. Minutes are before you from the regular meeting of August the 8th. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Ashford. Is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Amos. Is there any additions, deletions, corrections? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes will stand as submitted. We have several public hearings on tonight's meeting. If the clerk would please read the first one.
Number one is to hear comments on the establishment of the proposed wall in Court Street, Nez, located in the area between Wall Street and Court Street, west of 3rd Street, and east of the existing Nez 1 boundary.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council this evening on this public hearing number one? Seeing no one, I'll declare public hearing number one closed, and we'll move on to public hearing number two.
Number two is to hear comments on the application from Blue Water Glass, located at 2401 16th Street, to transfer the remaining 3 years of industrial facilities exemption certificate number 2007-182 for real property from GMA Cover Corp. Following the public hearing, the council will consider a resolution approving the application.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address public hearing number two? Seeing no one, I'll declare public hearing number two closed and ask for a motion, please. Thank you, Councilmember Lewandowski. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ruiz. Is there discussion?
Mayor Rep,
Yes, Councilmember Harris.
just a kind of a comment. I looked at it, and I hope I possibly didn't miss it, but besides the fact that they would notify us if they would have to cancel the exemption prior to their 3-year period and stuff, is there any guarantee of employment in this agreement?
No, I believe it's just the investment in the property. They're looking at spending over $1 million of investment in upgrading that facility. That's essentially an obsolete building at this point, and so they would rehab that building and bring it back up.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Amos.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Public hearings number 3 and 4 both pertain, or do you have to have them separate? Okay, we'll do them separately then. If you'll read the first one, number 3, please.
Is to hear comments on the establishment of an obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act district for the property at 1103 3rd Street and 308 Wall Street. Following the hearing, the council will consider a resolution to establish the district.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on public hearing number 3? Seeing no one, I'll declare the public hearing closed and ask for a motion to establish the district.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Amos.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to public hearing number 4.
Is to hear comments on the application for an obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate for 1103 3rd Street and 308 Wall Street for 10 years. Following the hearing, the council will consider a resolution approving the application.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address public hearing number 4? Seeing no one, I'll declare public hearing number 4 closed and ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Amos. Is there discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Amos?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. That concludes the public hearings. We'll move on to the public comment portion of the agenda. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council this evening, please come forward, give us your name, and you have 4 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor Rep, council members. Mark Neal, Chairman of the McMorran Civic Center Authority. I'm here to ask for your support on, from the City Manager number 5, approving amendments to the 2016-2017 budget. What Nancy Windsor is going to show a little bit later, I think, is some of our needs that we have over at McMorran. What is going to be covered primarily is cosmetic situations that need to be done to polish the gym that we have over there. Painting, repairs to the restrooms, carpeting are just to name a few. Our list is a lot longer than what we're bringing to you, but we feel that this is the beginning of some cosmetic issues that need to be addressed to make us a little bit more competitive in the marketplace. So I ask for your support on that. I'd like to also assure you that the authority is doing everything we possibly can to come up with grants and other ways to maybe finance some of the demands or needs that we have over there. So we'd appreciate your support, and I'll be around for any questions if you have any after Nancy speaks. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor and City Council, I just wanted to take a quick opportunity to thank Todd Chowdy for the great tournament at McMorran, and also Terry Ruff for the great job he did bringing the national tournament to Port Huron. It's my understanding you couldn't get a hotel room in Port Huron, and both these people volunteer their time to do this for our city, and I just wanted to publicly thank the both of them because great recreation opportunities brought people from all over the country in both cases. So I just want an opportunity to thank both of them. So thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing that up. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the City Council this evening? Seeing no one else, we'll declare public comment closed. Move on to consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Support.
Take the vote.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Amos?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Several items on the consent agenda, 2 traffic control orders that are made permanent. One is Fort Street shall stop for beers. The other one is Superior Mall shall stop for Grand River Avenue. Confirmed and approved single lot special assessments for fines, assessments, and/or cost of removing blight, blighting factors, and/or causes of blight, as well as the abatement of nuisances, as well as special assessments for special trash pickup in the right-of-way. Updating the names of authorized representatives to the previously approved MDOT agreement for maintenance of the state trunk lines and bridges for the period October 1, 2014 to September 30th, 2019 due to the change in staff. Approved a scheduling of a public hearing for September 26, a couple of them. One is for transfer of an obsolete Property Rehab Act certificate at 301 Huron Avenue. The other one to hear comments on a code case at 3410 10th Avenue on a garage. Also approve the beautification appointments of Ashley Cox to fill a vacancy with a term to expire January 30th, 2019, and Rose Coda to fill a vacancy with a term to expire January 30th, 2017. Confirm the mayor's appointment of Carrie Hepting to the Tax Increment Finance Authority to fill a vacancy with a term to expire September 14th, 2018. And now we are at City Manager number 1.
Number 1 is accepting the bid from S.A. Torello Incorporated in the amount of $6,800 for removal and excavation of material at 1808 Bancroft Street.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Harris.
I'd just like to know how much this material are we removing from the site?
Madam Mayor, Councilman, this particular project is for the removal of excavated materials from utilities work that has been done throughout the year. And we take that material and we put it in bins, and at the end of the year, we bid it for removal and proper disposal. The amount is on the order of about 10 to 12 yards, but I don't know the exact amount, because it's not really specified, just, it's by bin. It's been,
Kind of expensive compared to a demolition.
well, it's treated as non-hazardous waste, but it has to have classification, and it has to be tested, and it has to be disposed of
Okay.
properly.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Ashford.
Yeah, I was just interested, it was only one bid for this?
We submitted our request to a total of 10 firms. We got one bid back.
Oh, okay. And how long was this material accumulating?
Over the course of a year.
Course of a year, okay. And you expect to do this every year?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Amos.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Mayor Rapp.
Yes. Under the city manager, number 2.
Is accepting the quote from Hatch Company in the amount of $29,276,000 for purchase of 10 turbidity meters and appurtenances at the water filtration plant.
A tongue twister. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ruiz. Is there discussion?
Mayor, Rapp.
Yes, Councilmember
Okay,
Ashford.
I was interested in reading the, here it says it was two vendors. Is there some rationale why they weren't listed?
Madam Mayor, Councilwoman, could you please repeat the question? I'm not sure what your question is.
Oh, I'm talking about the second paragraph, and where it states that two of the vendors installed a, what's that, turbidity meter for a period of 60 days. So I was just wondering, is there a rationale why you didn't mention the other two vendors as versus the one who was awarded, though, that
Well,
you're
ma'am,
asking for tonight?
As part of this project, or this program, we actually had 3 vendors that came in to give a demonstration.
Okay.
Of those 3, 2 were chosen to do an installation, a demonstration installation,
Okay.
for a 60-day period. And those 2 vendors were Hatch and George Fisher.
Oh, okay.
The third vendor, Swan, was not invited to give the installation. And it was a result of our evaluation of these meters during the period of evaluation that caused us to choose Hatch as the better alternative.
Okay. I think you made a wise decision, not a decision, but a wise approach in terms of going through what we call it an embedded test to see which one would be the best of the two. And so I think that was a great thing you done. So thank you. And you did answer my question, the other person, the other vendor. Thanks, Mayor Rupp.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions, discussion? Nope, you're free. For the moment.
For now.
We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Amos.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Mayor Rapp.
Yes. Item 3, please.
is accepting the bid from Pro Maxima Manufacturing LTD in the amount of $19,646 for commercial-grade physical fitness equipment at each of the fire stations, with 90% funding being used from the fiscal year 2015 FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program, Wellness and Fitness Programs, and authorizing a 10% local match.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Is there discussion?
No, just a comment. We got to make sure that our officers, our first responders are fit. So, maybe Chief, can he say a little bit about this if you
That'd be
don't
a good
mind?
idea.
Okay.
He has a booklet in his hand, so he looks like he's
ready.
prepared.
Thank you. Good evening. This is from an Assistance to Firefighters grant that we wrote almost 2 years ago now. And this equipment will be replacing equipment that's been in the fire halls for between 10 to 15 years. Some of it is obsolete. Some of it is repaired on a yearly basis, especially the treadmills and ellipticals, things of that nature. The 10% match will be taken out of the maintenance funds that we already use to keep the old equipment running every year, so we'll actually be saving money by utilizing the grant. And then I plan to repurpose the equipment that's being taken out of the fire halls and putting it back into the MOC equipment upstairs on the 5th floor, so that the rest of the city employees can also have access to that type of equipment.
Good.
Any other questions for the chief?
Covers it?
Nope, thank you. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Amos?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4, please.
Is accepting the quote from Dell Premier in the amount of $19,187.36 for 8 in-car laptop computers for use by the police department, with 25% funding from each of the drug and OWI forfeiture funds and 50% from the IT budget fund.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Ruiz. Is there discussion?
Mayor Rapp,
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald.
can I assume these are already written in, the 50% into the current budget?
Good evening again. No, they were not. This is the completion of a project that we started approximately a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, you approved the purchase of 8 Dell laptop computers, and approximately 4.5 months ago, you approved the purchase of 15 docking stations. This completes the last piece of that total project over a span of 1.5 to 2 years. And we did not pre-budget for this, but we are taking this out of our drug forfeiture and OWI forfeiture. So those people that commit the crimes are paying for the computers, and hopefully will help convict them once again if they so choose to go down the wrong path. But it was not a budgeted item. I will note that the computers, from the first time that you approve them, we've now saved an additional $3,515.28 from the first 8 that we bought.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Lewandowski.
Chief, how often do we have to replace these computers?
That's a great question. I really go through our IT department to help us make that determination. We were utilizing Panasonic Toughbooks, the last group out, and some of those were between 5 and 7 years old. That's a little long in tooth for technology, especially with the technology that we're now utilizing in our scout cars in the station. 3 to 4 years would probably be the end of life. They're basically virtual offices now. They can do everything right from that office.
And how many more do we have to purchase to complete updates
That's
and
it.
repairs? That's it?
We're done.
Thank
Mayor
you.
Rapp, and I may add, when you're dealing with tough books, they have to integrate and talk to your other systems.
Correct, and that's one of the reasons we use the Dell, because Dell has that contract with Oakland County's Clemis, and they're all integrated, and they run all the software that's required by that vendor.
Right. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Amos?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes. We'll move on to item 5.
Is approving amendments to the 2016-2017 budget.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Lewandowski, is there a second?
Support.
Boy, we got it all over the place. Councilmember Amos, and I believe now we do have a presentation, correct?
Mayor Rep, City Council. First of all, I thank everyone, every single one of you came through the building, saw what we're doing, see what we're planning on hopefully accomplishing here in the next year. But as we look at McMorran and its future, we need to look at how to make it more bookable, how to make it continue to be the entertainment jewel that it is. If you go to any city or any recreation director, they'd probably drool over the fact to see a facility like this. And just being there in a little bit of time that I've been there, there's a lot of love in the community for McMorran, obviously. And we're here today to just kind of talk about, as Mark said, like polishing the jewel. Obviously, we're not stopping here, but our goal with the authority is to come up with other things that we want to accomplish, look at donors that maybe will match with those needs, starting to look at some grants that might match up with recreational needs and arts and all that kind of stuff. So in the short run, though, some of the things that we're looking to accomplish here are not only, like I said, things that'll make it more bookable, maybe more revenue producing, but also just some liability issues as well to the city. So I'd like to kind of talk about some of the things that we've accomplished, and I'll start by saying the McMorran staff there, and Rob's here with me today, but they're just amazing. I mean, through this process, it's only been a couple months, and they're just been so helpful. I mean, you've seen them covered in paint, and everyone grabs a brush or moves things, and I'm just very appreciative of all their hard work and the authority as well, and I just wanted to thank them with that. So with that, I'll kind of show you some of the things. I know you've all seen them, but for the public to see. Started out with the locker rooms, putting a fresh coat of paint in all the locker rooms, and again, that was the staff at McMorran that, just said sure. And I mean, it's funny because they just dive right in and do it, and I think the locker rooms look a lot better. We got a lot of compliments over the weekend about it. The back lobby area where all the teams come in, and that area was also done and painted by the staff. Looks a lot better. We wanted to try to make the office area a more professional area for, meetings, and just, I believe that your front line is bottom line, first impression. So that's our box office renovation. Oops, I went a little crazy. This is also when you, see, I told you I went crazy. That's when you first walk into McMorran. Just, again, just a little coat of paint to kind of make the place freshen up. But again, everyone from the concession people to whoever was helping to paint to get this done. So it just looks like, this is the box office that you come buy tickets at. Again, just a more updated look for when you first come to the facility. More of the business office improvements, just again, trying to make it more professional. The locker rooms to the left, obviously, were handleless showers and showers that didn't work. They now all work and have new fixtures, so I think the guys are pretty excited about that. So, the drinking, pardon?
Don't the girls have a locker room too?
I think it's girls that one? No, it's mostly boys. But, huh? Okay. Hopefully they'll mix. So the drinking fountains, previous to now, none of them were working it. We had, it's my understanding, like a leak behind the wall and some older piping. So we did replace the 3 with one that does work. So that's now in the facility as well. And it's also ADA compliant, which I don't believe the old ones were. The concession stand had a lot of issues with their flooring, very hard to keep it clean, so we did do some epoxying in there. And again, these were just with funds that you'd already allocated in our capital fund, so been pretty busy the last couple months. So some of the improvements that we'd like to talk about doing here in the next run would be, the bathrooms really need some love. As you can see, and you probably can't see real well in this picture, but to the right, you could see the yellow kind of dated brick. We did paint the brick. Now we'd like to get new partitions. As you can see, they're rusted, a lot of the locks don't work. And again, I don't know how guys feel, but for the girls, when you walk in the bathroom, that's a big impression, that the bathroom looks good. So, I'm sorry, but it is.
I would be used to
Say it, thank you.
I have to go home.
See what I mean? We'll also be looking in this next round of improvements to paint the ceiling of the arena. There's a lot of areas that are dented and rusted and just needs a painting of the ceiling. The staff did paint the scoreboard, which you can't really see too good here, but just made it look like a brand new scoreboard and replaced the lights in it. And I know we didn't put that in the presentation, but they kind of, Rob and these guys just took it upon himself, and it looks awesome. So this is in the theater. I'm sorry they don't have a bigger picture, but basically anywhere you go in the theater is coming up like this, and you have taped edges. I actually had a lady at one of the theater productions ask me if I had scissors so she could cut one of the strings, and that is not really the perception that we want. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of seams like that we've had to like duct tape down in different areas, and I think, you know, to make this shine, we definitely need new carpet in the theater area. So that would be the theater and the lounge as well with this proposal. One of the parts that kind of concerned me the most was some of the outside work as well. As you can see from the picture, we do have a lot of loose hazardous materials, and it kind of could be a dangerous situation by the looks of the bricks that are falling from above and some of the mortar that's coming out in different areas. So this proposed capital that we're proposing today would include cleaning that limestone, fixing all the caulk joints, fixing all these areas that, in my opinion, you know, could be a danger. There's also, this is the other side of the building. You can see where some of the bricks there are bowing as well. So it would include the front as well, cleaning the limestone. We did have a donor that helped us with the stars, so we're trying to get those made as we speak, and Rob's been working on the fountain, and hopefully down the road, like, we'll be working on the clock as well, so. And then also, just the rust of the exterior porcelain paint, looking at what color and what we could do with that to kind of make it shine, because obviously in a lot of spots, it's really rusting out, so it needs a fresh coat of paint. Also, when we, you know, separated with the college, we have a little bit of a storage issue, so we want to look at doing like a concrete pad for maybe some freezers, some different things that we need. So that would also be on the side of the building as well, and maybe preparing for something more permanent down the road, so. With that, I'll take any questions. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish with this budget transfer. Again, I really do believe this is a recreation asset that is great for our city. So I think putting a little money in it and right now and giving us time to look at the bigger list and looking where we can look for more funds would be great for the facility.
Well, you've done a good job with the improvements you've done so far, but I will open it up. Is there anybody on council?
Definitely not a one-man, it's a group.
No.
I just want to, I mean, they've been awesome, so.
Anyone on council have any comments, questions for Nancy?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Ruiz.
first off, it's the fact that you're here in front of an audience and such, and you're paying compliments to your staff, and I'd like the staff to know that that's one of the first words out of your mouth were the giving credit to your staff, and I was so impressed. I think we have people who can, and they just went through, and the improvements are great, but I truly appreciate the leadership saying that everybody contributed,
Yes.
and congratulations and thanks to them for
Yeah.
doing that.
And I mean the authority too, and just like I said, I mean, I really, and James, and the support of you guys, because obviously, I mean, I really do mean that, so.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Just to echo what Councilmember Ruiz said, I think your staff's done a great job there after, touring through it now. But the only question I have, is there any plan to have any kind of capital fundraising program for McMorran?
Yes, actually, I see Chris is here. That was one of, her things she brought up in an authority meeting, and we've already been talking about that, and I know we have further meetings with Sherry and, Mark and some of the folks to come up with who the donors have in the past and look at what some of these fundraising. We really need to come up with a good list, though, because, I'm kind of noticing, you're either a diehard hockey guy or you're a diehard theater person. So a list would be nice because obviously people have different, if you hit the lottery, you're going to probably give to one thing. If you hit the lottery, you're probably going to give to another. So it's nice when you're going after donations to know what are you actually looking for. For me to just say to you, you know what, Alan, I really could use $50,000, you're probably going to say, well, for what? So I think the first step is the authority will get these, some of these cosmetic changes done, look as a group to say, this is what we'd like to see in the future. And then, like I said, I've had a lot of people on the authority that would help get a team together to see, and then looking to see what grants can we match up. So, but we need to get that list done. That's our next thing, so.
I agree with you, and I think that once that plan comes in place, I think the community will rally behind you on that. I think you'll do it way better than what you think you'll
Yeah,
do.
people really love McMorran, I found that. I mean, I knew it, but they really, so it's great.
Thank you.
I just have, just a couple. Nancy, how big is your staff?
Well, it depends. I mean, how many full-time people are?
On a good day, how big?
4, 5? 5? 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
then obviously some part-time as well, but.
okay, and you must have put a lot of thought into this, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I couldn't
Oh.
attend the tour, but you must have put a lot of thought into some of the cosmetics, and I would consider those priorities for you. Were they priorities or were they
Yeah,
just
it
low-hanging
wasn't
fruit?
just, it
Low-hanging
wasn't just
fruit?
me. I think it was,
Oh,
like
no,
I
I
said,
meant,
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
speaking to you.
Yeah,
and I know
I
what's
think
behind
so.
it.
I mean, I think, like I said, the building, the carpet, those
Right.
are all things to hopefully make the area more bookable and continue. People are saying, wow, you guys are trying, and now I think it'll be easier to, like Alan said, maybe find other donors, because the city's behind it as well.
Okay, but you as a leader, what keeps you up overnight? What would you like to see?
You don't want to know what keeps me up. I'm just kidding.
In regards to the McMorran. Whoa.
No.
Okay, now,
There's a lot of things that keep me
now
up
you
at
get
night.
ready to
This is
start,
just
sound like a
start.
Star
This is just a
magazine.
start.
No, I just meant, over it there, if there's something that really just gets in your craw, like if you had an organization, you had some,
Yeah.
the vision, we look to you for that, and
Yes.
I love your humble spirit, but I'm just saying, as a leader,
Well,
what
I
is
tell
it?
you, when I saw the building, that really bothers me, because of.
What was that? Slow
The
down.
building that we showed you with the bricks falling
The bricks,
in
okay.
different areas. And the carpet, to me, when you walk in and you're trying to sell it to
Okay,
someone,
all right.
that to me bothers me, because it's hard to sell something that's looking in that bad a disrepair, in my opinion.
Okay, excellent.
And then storage is another thing that we really need to address.
Okay, so the carpet
And
and
that keeps
storage.
Rob up at night more than me, but, but it's something that down the road is definitely an issue, because you'll definitely see things in the arena you didn't see before, because we need to work on that as well in the future.
Okay. Well, the makeover seems to be making a difference, because that's what it looks like, a real overhaul makeover. So, thank
Yeah, we're
you.
trying. Thank you.
And thank your staff.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald.
I just want to say, Nancy, as the liaison to the authority, it has been a great pleasure working with you and your enthusiasm and your passion and just this short period of time. And the difference between Nancy and the staff and what's going on over there already is amazing, and I believe they will do great things. And then I'm going to petition for carpet over the grate, because I can't tell you how many times I've left my heel in the grate as I've walked in the door. I think Mark's had to stop and help me a few times. But really, seriously, you and your staff, I know they did that nice article on you, and what a great, how successful you've been in a lot of things. I've worked with you on Lakeside, but to see what you've done already and the changes you've made this quickly, and that passion to continue to do it, I just want to say thank you, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor Rep,
Yes.
I guess I
Councilmember
just got a
Harris.
comment. You know, I looked back at this afternoon, and something just really didn't strike me quite right when I seen this application for the $201,000. And let's go back to the August 10th meeting of the McMorran Authority. The McMorran Authority, on that evening, made a motion, and it was passed unanimously, to ask for $156,000 to be brought to the city council for funding, which I completely supported. Now we're surprised it's up to $201,000, and I'm not ready to do that tonight. I might do it in the future, but I won't do $201,000 tonight, so I just wanted to explain that I think that, McMorran Authority made a good move. I think it was a respectful move, but to change the amount at this time, no, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Councilman Harris, you are correct. The number did change from the McMorran Authority, meaning what the difference was is we added the painting of the arena ceiling, which I believe is between $45,000 and $50,000. After reviewing the ceiling and the damage to the ceiling, the rusting, the holes in it, the only additional project that was placed on there was the painting of the arena ceiling. That is what caused the price difference. And I believe it was discussed with each McMorran Authority member individually, and it was, there's no surprise that the authority knew this was coming tonight.
Any other discussion?
Mayor?
Yes.
Just to
Councilmember.
echo everyone else, just a great job you and your staff are doing over there, and I look forward to great things coming in the future. When the residents all applaud the work and really support something, it's easier for us to support as well, so.
Madam Mayor, lastly, if I could. One of the things I applaud Nancy. One of the things I'm fascinated about the work Nancy does is, not only did we put McMorran on your plate, but Lakeside Beach and Lighthouse Beach in our parks had the busiest season ever. We went from averaging 3,000 to 4,000 cars a year to over 15,000 cars at Lakeside Beach this summer. The revenue from just the admission had almost quadrupled based on just pure volume. And one of the things that Nancy does is she's an amazing leader who inspires her staff. And one of the things you judge a great leader by how they develop other leaders. And so since we have changed the staffing and position of leadership throughout McMorran, created a park supervisor, her staff is so well trained by working side by side with Nancy that they've been able to pick up some of the park recreation work. And so not only have we had an incredibly busy summer, we've also put McMorran on there, and it's truly a testament to Nancy's ability to develop her staff. And I'm very proud of how much you've been able to
I really
handle.
wouldn't survive without them, so please stop. I mean, seriously.
I consider her like Atlas carrying the world.
All
So,
right,
thank you so
we need to call
much.
the police chief, stop this, all right.
Anyways, don't run away. Nancy?
Nancy?
No, I would also like to say thank you because you've done a remarkable job. And I know it's not just you. I know it's the whole staff that have come forward to put those improvements into McMorran. You talked about a plan for what future I assume you'll come back and share that with us at a future
Yeah.
date as to what projects you're looking to work on in the future?
And again, that'll be done with the authority and.
Right, first,
and
of
the
course,
staff,
and then,
yeah.
brought back so that we have some,
Yeah, definitely.
Mayor,
well, yes.
if I may, just an opportune time to thank McMorran Authority as well.
Yeah.
For all the time and the meetings they put in and the input along the way. And you can tell it's their baby. And it doesn't surprise me that you come up with that raise in pricing, and I'll totally support that in terms of painting that, because you've done miracles with just the minimum budget so far, and I think that's going to be money well spent in investment.
Because a lot of that
overdue.
was in place, the authority has
Right.
been working on this for some time, so, they really have. So thank you, I agree.
Excuse me, Nancy, does the clock work?
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't set your watch by yet. We'll get there.
You have one more question.
You're not going to repaint that ceiling that ugly green, are you?
No. No.
Then you got my support.
Thank you. You can leave now. There you go. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
No.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Amos?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Resolutions number 1, please.
Is authorizing 19 payments.
And is there a motion?
So move.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second? Support. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there discussion?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Harris?
Just a couple of comments, and I got to apologize for the last meeting because there was a couple of change orders that were quite a bit, and I failed to bring it up. But I looked at it again this time, and with this payments and stuff tonight, we've got 4 change orders tonight, 2 of them that are really good for us, and 2 of them that aren't. And I don't know, I don't like to see the trend where we have to get these change orders and these volumes and stuff. I mean, it's nice when you save $173,000 on a street job, but when you lose 2/3 of that with other increases and stuff. So I just hope we can tighten it up a little bit more as things go on. James had a nice article in the paper the other day, and we're not going to grow money on trees, so we got to start doing things right someplace. So, but just a comment.
Madam Mayor, if I could respond to that. Councilman Harris, you are correct. There are some differentials. One of the things, for instance, we bid projects based on quantities. So we get into a project and we don't need as much quantities, whether that be concrete, aggregate, or HMA pavement. It reduces your expenditures. And then you get in some situations, like in the East Quay lot, where you saw a price increase because when they removed the asphalt and looked at the aggregate underneath, it needed much more aggregate than we ever thought. Because the base of the parking lot wasn't going to be able to support the weight. And so that's why the pavement failed before. And so, until you get in, you open things up, you really don't know what you're going to find. And so, luckily, combining all these together, it was in our favor. The difference with the East Quay lot will come out of HUD grant funds, not general fund dollars. But it really, until you open up a street, you just don't know what's underneath there. Sometimes there's base issues. We want to make sure that we have enough sand so that pipes don't collapse, the road doesn't collapse, and the good aggregate, so.
Mayor Rep.
Yes,
Yeah, I'd
Councilmember
just like to
Ashford.
say, I too was somewhat like Councilmember Harris, and I was watching this, kind of track this, but, so far the change orders, what we get here is if they do have to make a change, they give us explanations and all that, and I think that the amount of the positives were more so, we're getting more so than it was, decreasing, so I would just like to just comment on that, because they have been doing very well as far as the change orders. If you had to change, it was to the city's advantage, not to our disadvantage. Thank you.
Mayor Rep, if I
Councilmember
may, I'd like to
Ruiz.
echo exactly what Anita said, in that basically that there's always seems to be a good positive and there's a rationale.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how it kind of flies under the radar, where all of a sudden we're dealing with grant funds and so on and so forth, that just, we don't say enough about how we've sought those out and they support these things. And that makes it easy to look at those change orders and see them as being something that's essential, and good judgment on our staff. Thank you.
Any other discussion? We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz?
Yes.
Councilmember Amos?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2 under resolutions, please.
Is authorizing submission of the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, known as CAPER, for the 2015 program year to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for the review and approval regarding the use of CDBG and home funds.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Support. Well, I withdraw mine.
Pardon me?
Who was that, Amos?
Yes.
Was that you down there?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Amos. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor, if I could, I would encourage people, we'll throw this up online, porthuron.org/open government, for citizens who would like to read our annual report that we submit to HUD. A lot of people ask what's going on in the neighborhoods, what is the city of Port Huron doing in our neighborhoods, and our community development office is doing a lot of exciting projects in our neighborhood. And this plan outlines those projects, but not only outlines those projects, but benchmarks them to our successes. So for those in the community who would like to know some of our redevelopment issues, some of our housing issues, what we're doing specifically in our core neighborhoods, I would encourage everyone to go online, to download it, and to read what your city government is doing to help improve your neighborhood in conjunction with all of our other departments. We use a systems approach. So when we're working on infrastructure in a neighborhood and housing redevelopment, Chief Reeves and his team are working on crime reduction and safer streets and safer neighborhoods. And so we all work together, but this is just an excellent read for people. Again, porthuron.org/open government, and you can download this and read this, and it's an encouraging document. And I applaud Nicole Smith and the Community Development Division for putting together this very lengthy report.
Thank you, and I believe Councilmember Ashford.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask whoever can answer this, were there any comments made this time? Because we never have it. Oh.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. During the public hearing portion, we did not have any comments come forward.
Okay, and how, what's the process for them to be on, to hear about it? What's your communication strategy to get comments?
The public notice, it's also made available in the county library, and we encourage those to come forward from various groups who have ideas and requests for funding.
Okay, so you have direct communication with the neighborhoods?
Madam Mayor, if I could as well, Nicole also reaches out to community groups like Habitat for Humanity and people we collaborate with on housing programs. And so we have a good pipeline of information from those types of groups already, meeting with coalitions and neighborhood watches. And so Nicole does an excellent job with that, in addition to the mandated public notices.
Okay, so we just don't have any comments, any feedback to know whether or not you're being successful or not from the public?
No, we didn't receive any comments, but as City Manager Freed just indicated, we have our traditional partners that we deal with and our Chodo partners that we continue to work on funding projects. And again, a great job by Nicole Smith and Jasmine Thomas in managing the community development program.
Does that bother you that you can't get to the residents to come and speak publicly, or?
Typically, they aren't aware or don't have a capacity to utilize these funds. So typically, we usually see it's a housing partner who's coming forward because they would be the pass-through for some, especially the Chodo funds. And that's typically where we see the most activity.
Okay. And so out of all these programs that we get these funds for, the CDBG and all that, is there any highlights from them or that you'd like to share with us?
Well, right now, the Urban Pioneer Program for first-time home buyers, down payment assistance, has done phenomenally well. We're probably about 47 property owners have been assisted. We had the federal funds for the demolition of blighted property. We're at 41 homes now have been removed from the neighborhoods. So in that fashion, we're impacting and helping to improve. We've also purchased several homes now, which has been a first in a number of years. We're under contract right now for a purchase on a house on Military. We're finishing off the home on Court Street, and that's getting ready to go to market. And we're beginning the next home already on 15th Street.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Amos.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Mayor Rapp.
Yes. We'll move on to ordinances. Number 1, please.
Is being given its second reading and enactment and is an ordinance to amend Chapter 22, Environment, Article 2, Blight of the Port Huron Code of Ordinances for the purpose of updating the descriptions for causes of blight.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Ashford. I wonder if we could have someone, there were some questions about several of the items in it last time, so I wonder if we could have explanations. I notice we've got different changes, so if you could go through those.
Sure, Mayor, council members. As far as, there was a plexiglass question, and that's regarding the windows. That would be acceptable for a total replacement of a window, but not inserts or patches, which sometimes we found homeowners did do inside windows. We had an addition as far as shrubs, that we put that they need to be healthy. Thanks, Jim. We've had certain people call in and report that they're looking at a wall of dead bushes, and we would say, well, there's nothing we can do because the ordinance doesn't say anything about the healthy state of the bush or that it's a viable bush. So we would just tell them, we're sorry, there's nothing we can do. And the same goes for porches. People would hang like Scooby-Doo blankets or different types of tarps up around their porch to block out the wind or the sun, and we just told people there's nothing we could do. So we thought that adding this language in here, if it was gaudy or unsightly, we'd be able to do something about it. But if it was a normal, like the bamboo or outdoor shades, that would be perfectly acceptable.
I think 'cause one of the questions I believe at the last meeting was who makes that determination, what is acceptable and what is healthy? That's.
Yeah, and we do. It would be, and sometimes some decisions like that are judgment calls on the inspectors, and we do talk amongst ourselves to make sure that we're consistent when we do decide something like that. But we're not talking about a brown branch in a bush. I mean, we're talking about a dried up brown or black bush that has no life. So those are decisions I feel the inspectors can make. And either any of you, I feel, would make the same determination.
I guess I'll open it up at this point, and then you can answer whatever questions happen to be. And Councilmember Harris, I believe, has one. He's looking at me like he does, so.
I guess I just got a few points. I really love the one here, 2234 4C, and it talks about shrubs maintained in a healthy condition and trimmed to provide a clear look at the houses. And anybody that's walked some of the neighborhoods in the city of Port Huron don't know how important this really is, because it really complicates things. If you have an emergency call, a police call, anything.
Suspects breaking in.
It's serious, and it's out there, and hopefully this will be a start to getting it done. As far as the tree thing, I think there was a lot of perception because it followed, we were talking about the boulevards and stuff, and I think we've clarified that. We're talking about trees on private property, and I understand how important it is. I know in the area between Miller Street and Wells Street and 15th and 16th, there's a huge tree right in the middle of a residential area, and that block has been up without electricity 3 times in the last 6 months. So, I mean, it's a tool to get some of these things corrected, because otherwise they're not going to get corrected. But my big question still is, when we get down to the talking about doing something about this, is using the word may instead of shall. I think shall carries much more of a terminology to get somebody to do something. I know that sometimes a lien on the property isn't going to work in every case, and we have to have another way. But by using the word may in there, it gives basically the person who's in violation a way out.
Yeah, the mays that we had changed were giving the city options to do a single lot assessment or go through a collections agency to recoup the money spent. But I see your point.
I hate to see the people beat us on our own system.
I did review them and make sure that they were appropriate in the certain situations, because there were a lot of shells and mays, like you pointed out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions from council?
Madam Mayor, if I could, one of the reasons with the shall and may as well is we also want to have our inspection officers use common sense judgment when dealing with situations and give them flexibility. Oftentimes, Marcy works with property owners. Our goal is not to cite and make money. Our goal is to find solutions to problems. And throughout the last couple of years, you've heard the extraordinary efforts that our inspectors and Lieutenant Kewen has done to find solutions to unique problems. And so we also don't want to tie the hands of our inspectors and force them to write citations when a more common sense solution is available.
And I think may is more respectable. It gives you that friendly nature, we don't have to be, you don't have to be, but it's something about that, respecting on both sides, and I'm willing to deal with it, to deal with you on whatever we have to do. So it does come, rather than coming at them with a hammer, so I agree. Sorry, I didn't, thanks.
No problem. Anyone else have discussion, questions? Thank you.
Madam
Sure.
Mayor, one last thing. This past month represents Lieutenant Kewen's 25 years serving the city of Port Huron. I want to say thank you for your years of service. It's actually 26 years because she began as a cadet, but 25 years of excellent, committed service to the city of Port Huron. That's why she's got a little Port Huron pin on today.
I was
Let's
going
give
to-
her a round of
Yeah.
applause, everybody.
It's important because she's a leader in our department, and to be quite frank, you're the future of the department, so that's why I'm very confident in our Port Huron Police Department, so thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I bet you won't come up here anymore, huh?
You never know what's going to happen. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Ruiz.
Yes.
Councilmember Amos. Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewandowski.
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, that concludes the regular agenda, so it's open before it is. I see Jerry Kramer sitting in the audience, and he didn't get up and speak during the time, but I just want to say that we appreciate your investment in the area around Third and Wall, and that you've got your obsolete property rehabilitation thing now, so we're looking for good things.
Thank you, and thank the council, the administration for all your help.
Yep, thank you. Is there anything else from council? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.